going to skip all this. You really don't care what training I've had. I understand that. So there we go. If you get one aha tonight, it'll be worth it. One, I never thought about that. One, maybe that can help. There's always a what if. There's always a yeah, but what if this? What if that? Folks, there are no guarantees. If we could guarantee your safety, we wouldn't need the gentleman on our police force. We wouldn't need a whole lot of stuff. There are no guarantees. What's the active shooter's mindset? Kill as many people as possible in the least amount of time, normally before they kill themselves. Your mindset? I'm not dying today. We were in Uniontown and a 4th or 5th grader asked, if I'm shot, can I still fight? A 4th or 5th grader. And the answer is yes. If my heart's still beating, I'm still fighting. Don't lie down and die. Fight back. That's a little message from Alon Stevie, who's the Attack Countermeasures Training founder. And I'm going to say, and gentlemen police officers, if it's okay with you, if it's not okay, you tell me. But we have a starter's pistol in the audience. And at some point, I don't know when, you're going to hear a couple of shots from a starter's pistol, just to give you an idea of what it might sound like. Is that okay with you fellas? Just so you know that that's going to happen. The old fight or flight principle, what we don't want you to do is freeze. And hey, you're going to freeze. That's natural. But hopefully you're not going to freeze forever. You'll freeze until some training kicks in and try to survive. There's a shooter. Happens to be the piece of trash that committed the Virginia Tech massacres. But we have 2 doors. One, the future is bright, and you're feeding the ducks with your grandson. The other door is not so bright, pretty grim. That's a picture from the Boston Marathon bombing. There's a key that unlocks both of those doors. It's the same key. The key that unlocks the door to my future with my grandson, and the key that unlocks that piece of trash's intent is violence. Violence is but a tool, just like a hammer, an automobile, a weapon. Now, if your stomach's starting to churn a little bit, that's probably a good thing. We're decent people, we all hope. Why is it doing that? This is a change. I don't think any of you got up today really talking about killing and mass murder. There's no guarantees, but what's your choice? This is one of the sickest things I'll say to you tonight, probably. We may not stop the killing, but we may reduce the body count. Now, the 3 basic steps to survival. There's different words for them. Avoid, deny, and defend. Avoid the fight. If you can't avoid it, deny that person access to your area. And if you have to, defend. What we normally hear is run, hide, fight. I don't like run, hide, fight that much because it's a little bit defensive. I'm going to run, I'm going to hide. No, if my grandson's with me, I'm going to avoid, I'm going to deny, and I'm going to fight. Fight's okay. Also, it's called evacuate. If you can get out, you might want to get out. If you can't get out, you're going to lock down, you're going to secure your area. If you can't do those, you're going to counter. And most of this has to do with time, people. Time. Do you have time to get out? Do you have time to lock down the area? If you don't, you got to fight. That's another one. Get out, keep out, take out. And a lot of times, even in the FBI's handout, and they're over there on the desk, by the way, their little card. Grab one of those and take it with you. They say fight as a last resort. Fighting might not be your last resort. It might be your only resort. You come face to face with the shooter and you don't have time to avoid. You don't have time to hide. You've got to fight. So you can't always wait. Easier said than done. You know, someone comes through that door, you never know who's going to be the one that says, I'm not dying today. I could freeze up, I could be the biggest frozen person in here. I don't know. I can talk tough and read this stuff, but what's going to happen when there's a gun in my face? We don't know. That's why I need your help. There's safety in numbers, granted. It's better to have 30 of us than 2 of us. That's only logical. Fire drills. To our credit, we have a fire drill by law once a month in our schools. When's the last time a student died in America from a fire in school? 1958, 50 years ago. And it's good we still have drills. I'm certainly not knocking fire drills, I don't mean that, but how often has your child come home and said, we had an active shooter drill today in school. We had a lockdown. If you know a school board member, a teacher, administrator, remind them. God forbid we take time away from those all-sacred PSSA tests. And I am knocking that. Sorry, I'm not knocking the teachers. I'm knocking the PSSA test. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. When's the last time a U.S. student died from an active shooter? I can't keep up with it. The last one I looked was 2 students killed at Grambling University. But this changes so often, I'm going to quit trying to keep up on it. The law enforcement's response time, national average, here's your little quiz, take a guess. From the time they get the call to the time they get to the library or the school. And it varies, big city, little city, New York, Connellsville. But the average time is 3 minutes. Our police force is probably a little better than that. And remember, that clock doesn't start until the call is made. What are you going to do in 3 minutes? If I shoot one shot a second, bang, 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 bang. I don't know how, if someone was counting, I don't know, that might have been 10 or 15 seconds. 3 minutes is 180 before our police officers get here and can help us. So what are we going to do? I'll buzz through this. I'll go through it quickly. Before the law enforcement gets there, what percentage ends before our police force get to help us? Over half. How? The shooter stops at 37% of the time by suicide, or he leaves. The victims stop at 18% of the time by subduing him or shooting him. And these figures change. You know, it takes a long time to formulate these figures. Sorry, I double-clicked. How does the active shooter end after our officers get there? 45% of the time. Attacker stops at 15% by suicide or surrender. Folks, he ain't given up. The police stop at 30% of the time by subduing him or shooting him. Schools, businesses, government, property, other, anywhere. What's your reaction to that? And what's your reaction to this? How would you describe him in 3 words? That's the piece of trash that committed the Sandy Hook killings. 20 children. Sorry, guys. I wasn't done with that. Yeah, stay right here, Shannon. Don't leave me. 20 children, 6 adults, killed himself. How did he start the day? He shot his mother in the face. This is meant for school staffs, but I wasn't going to take it out. You see, some people will say, well, what can a little kid do? They can't fight an adult. No, they can't. But they can do what we're going to mention later on. And I tell the kids, it's all about, see, you got to empower the little kids. You got to empower adults. We tell the kids, and I'll ask you, if there's a fly in your kitchen, flying around, and you have your magazine or fly swatter, what are the chances of you swatting that fly out of the sky? But when it lands on the windowsill, that's when we normally swack it. What do you think about first graders? Do you think their chances of dying are worse if they're sitting there like you are right now, or if they're up around the room, flying around, yelling, screaming, trying to get to the door? We may not stop the shooting, but if one of those little kids got to get out of that room, would it not have been worth it? We also tell the kids to think of a bee. If you've ever been attacked by a bee isn't very big, but it can sting. And little 4th graders, if you work together, you can sting, and you can move, and you can fly around. No, we don't try to teach little kids to fight an adult. We try to teach them to move. Virginia Tech. This is how he started his day at 7:15. Then he went back to his apartment. Then he mailed to NBC what his intentions were. Now, there were 7 attacks in 5 classrooms. What that means is he went to 5 classrooms and he doubled back and went to 2 of them again. One to 2 minutes after the first shot. 9 to 12 minutes later, it was done. He shot 174 bullets, and he didn't have high. See, people think you need an AR-15, you need an assault rifle to kill. My goodness, he had a 9mm and a 22. Our police officers will tell you a 22 kills more people in this country than any other caliber. Oh, it's only a 22. It'll go into your head. The difference is it doesn't come out the other side. Oftentimes it bounces around in your brain. So don't think if it's just a 22, you're not in trouble. 30 dead, 17 wounded. 28 of the 30 were headshots. Do you think those students were flying around like the flies? Or were they doing what we're doing right now? Sitting. And all victims shot at least 3 times. What were they doing? I'm going to skip that. This is a picture from simulating Virginia Tech. Are they getting ready to fight whatever comes through that door like their life depended on it, or are they hiding and hoping, waiting for our police officers to get there? Didn't work for them, guys. I go back to that slide. And just because you're shot doesn't mean you're going to die. Oh yeah, you get the right shot, you're going to die, yes. But there have been cases of especially police and for law enforcement officers, got shot multiple times. What are we going to do? Okay, that's good in theory. Come on, Dawn, what are we going to do, buddy? We're going to distract, we're going to swarm, and we're going to attack. This is the fight stage. We're not dealing with the run and the hide place part now. This is the fight. Distract, swarm, and attack. We're going to render him non-functional through injury, unconsciousness, or death. Mr. Malone, can we have some light? This is the last slide. And I just wanted to point out what it says, since you can't read it so well on that. Linda, did you take that card? I'll blame it on you. It says, under the fight, run, hide, and fight. Attempt to incapacitate, this is the FBI. Attempt to incapacitate the shooter. Act with as much physical aggression as possible. Improvise weapons or throw items at the active shooter. And the last one, commit to your actions. Your life depends on it. So we're talking bottom of the barrel. Sick. Terrible stuff here. And a lot of times people will say, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. You know, I'm older. I can't move so well. What if it was your grandchild? Mom, what if it was your baby? You see, I wish you all could see the look in her eye right there. It's like, you know, you want to bet? You'd be surprised what we can do. If not your life, someone else's life depends on it. And we're going to go over this, and I'll keep that till later. So now, we're going to talk about, I'm going to let Bob talk a little bit, and then we're just going to get into the physical aggression. What are we going to do? Go ahead, Bob.
Okay, thank you everyone for coming tonight. Don covered a lot of things. I'm probably going to repeat a couple of things that he went over. But everything we're going to talk about tonight is nothing that hasn't already been done by average people. Okay, we are the first responders. Those guys aren't really first responders, okay? We are the first responders. And we want to give you options. What can you do? Like we have here, I mean, a lot of you have parents. No, it's just for him. You have parents, you have husbands, wives, children, grandchildren, all different people that you want to be able to do something. Okay, and that's why, as Don said about the run, hide, fight, that's a little bit misleading. He didn't do that when he was talking. He waited till I started to talk to interrupt me, okay? But so I started doing programs for schools with my training in 1999 after Columbine. I started doing through the intermediate. The college level classes the teachers took. I probably taught thousands of teachers over the time. And Dawn was one of my first classes. That's where he first got an interest in this. And we've gone into schools. I really feel that to train everyone, you got to start at a younger age. It's kind of hard to get all the adults, but everyone goes to school. So you get a mindset. What can we do? So you start, and we do programs all the way down to kindergarten, but as far as what we're going to do tonight, we start it with fourth graders, where we actually teach them how to take people down, how to work together. And then about every 3 years, we train those kids again when they're in middle school and then when they go to high school. Colleges have some of the same programs I'm going to talk about, okay? So the goal of this program tonight means we're teachers. We like to let you have some visuals. But the goal of this training is to begin your mental preparation. You have to be prepared mentally before you can do anything physically. Okay? Mental preparation to recognize, to assess, and to respond to threats against you. And the ability to quickly make decisions under extreme stress and fear determines if you survive a violent encounter. The key word here is the ability. Another key word is quickly. You don't have time to think. What did Bob Renty say we're supposed to do if we come on? You know, you don't have time to think. You got to do something right now. And something you can do that I do myself a lot is it's called visualization. Various places I go, if I walk out of a mall or if I walk out of Bud Murphy's, whatever, I do visualization. I say, okay, what if someone is right there and they had a weapon or they're going to do something? What would I do? So your head's not in the sand. And most of the time, people get blindsided because they're asleep, not paying attention. You know, you just come out of the mall or you just come out of Gabe, you got all these sales. You're so happy, it's like you stole something off of. You're not paying attention. And you become an easy victim, okay? People can tell by the way you walk, by the way you look, if you are going to be an easy target. Just by the way if you walk with your head up and you're scanning, you're assertive, less likely to become a victim. Okay. These are places where they've had shootings. These are the same slides that I showed to the kids in school. We've had shootings. All these places, and you go to all these places many times weekly. especially kids, schools, church. But by the way, we don't have this program just because of what happened Sunday. Okay, it just so happened that occurred. But malls, you have that, restaurants, movie theaters, okay, various events. I don't care whether it's a sporting event, maybe it's a concert, whatever, in your homes. Also, you have workplace violence. The first active shooter I ever heard about, it took place at Anchor Hockey in Connellsville 20-some years ago. 30-some, okay. Well, 20-some means 30-some, I guess. Okay, but that was what year? 85? Okay. So, I mean, that's something, and you think it's not going to happen, and it's already occurred in our town. Okay? So, to say that it can happen, I mean, all you got to do is read the newspaper about what happens in Fayette County on a weekly basis, monthly basis. I mean, anything is going to be possible. Dawn had this particular slide up about run, hide, fight. It's kind of misleading, okay? Sometimes you do all three of those. Maybe you fight and then you run and hide, okay? We have another term that I use with the ALICE program where evacuate, okay? Lockdown, you've heard of lockdown. And also counter. Counter doesn't always mean fight. It's something you're going to do to neutralize them. And we already mentioned this one here by Teddy Roosevelt, but I use the term ABN, anything beats nothing. But let's give you some things for anything, okay? Some concrete things that you can do, some options that you have available to you. Dawn gave you some numbers about average response time. Again, that they come from different places. But average is, you know, some places might be 2 to 3 minutes. If you live in Normalville, it might be 20 minutes. Okay, so average is a misleading number. I remember reading an article in a newspaper a few years ago about a local school district that they had the police come in and do a drill, the state police. And the superintendent said that the police are only 2 minutes away from every building in our district. It just made me wonder, you know, 2 minutes away. What can happen in 2 minutes? Okay, you don't have 2 minutes. Okay, what can happen in 30 seconds? You have to do something right now. Okay, you have to have options. Now, the program we do for schools is called ALICE. Just an acronym for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, Evacuate. You don't do them in this order. They're just written here so they spell out something you can remember. Okay? I mean, evacuate might be the first thing you do. You may have to counter. Inform is where you get on a PA system somewhere and you inform the people what is going on in plain language, not in code, blue, purple, red, black, things like that, where you got to look in your book and say, okay, what's code purple? Just in plain words. Okay? You have lockdown. That is one time, you know, the way ALICE came about was the guy that trained me in ALICE, he was a state policeman in Texas, and his wife was an elementary school principal. And they were talking one Thanksgiving dinner about, what do you do in your school, he asked his wife, if you have a shooting situation? And she said, well, we do this, we go lockdown, blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, what do you do if they get in your building, though? She said, I don't know. We don't have any. Don't get that far. We just have lockdown. So that gave him the idea of the ALICE training program. which was actually originated about 20 years ago. It's been used about the last 15 years. And it's used in schools, public schools, colleges, hospitals, workplaces. A lot of the school police have been trained in various districts on ALICE. We trained a lot of local districts. Now, we went to every school building in the Connellsville School District and in Uniontown School District. Now, why not the other districts? Because they chose not to do anything. I blame it on security, that they don't feel that it's like we're stepping on their toes. You know, you got to train kids, not for in school. School's the safest place they go. You have to train them for what are they going to do outside of school, after they graduate, for the rest of their life. That's the idea of this. Where can we train adults? Well, one place that most adults go, the largest groups, are going to be churches. We've done programs in actual churches after services to go over this. But that's where you can get, you're not going to get a lot of people come to things like this. Okay? Most people deal with what I'm talking about. There's one word in the way they deal with it. They deny it can happen. Same reason why a lot of you guys don't go to the doctor. Because you deny there's anything wrong with you. Okay? So that's how you kind of rationalize. There's nothing wrong with me. I don't have to go. So denial, I use expressing, denial is not just a river in Africa. Okay? Denial is how people deal with potential catastrophic things. Okay? Now, you are the first real responders, okay? You. You know, there's not many instances that I know of, Don gave a number, where the police have actually stopped and prevented someone from being killed. Maybe they took out the shooter after he was done, but to actually prevent it. You know, even in a school building. You know, we have a school police. You know, at the high school, that's a pretty big building. Mike Parlak cannot be all over that building. They have people at the front door when you walk in. Well, you know what? If I'm going to break into the school, I'm going to go in the back door somewhere. There's probably 20 entrances around that building. They don't have them all secured. I could bust that glass and walk through any of those. You know, school security is kind of misleading. Okay? If anybody wants in, they're getting in and do what they want to do. Okay, you can have somebody at the front desk reading a newspaper, and he's going to check you in. Okay, yeah, you do this. That's not the guy you're worried about. Those are the good people that they're watching. The bad guy, if he wants to break in your house, okay, you could have an alarm system. I don't care what you have. If he wants in, you can lock your doors, lock your windows. He's getting in, or she's getting in. Okay? So, you are the real first responder if something's going to occur. And you want to know what to do. And the main thing is, if you're going to do something, I don't care how well trained you are. You could be the most trained martial artist, fighter, whatever it is. If some guy in the street has intent and he wants something, he's going to get you. Okay? Because okay? You have to have intent to injure someone. If you don't have this, I don't care how much training you have, it's going to be useless. You have to have intent. With no training at all, if I have intent, I can do something. Okay? Now, next part of it, we're going to do some the way we do the counter primarily, where we distract. What options do you have right now? And then at the end of the program, we'll do some individual things like one-on-one. If you yourself become threatened with a weapon or you're attacked with a knife, what can you do? Okay, what options do you have?
Let's take about a 5-7 minute break, grab a cookie, some water, Restrooms are right around the corner, and then we'll come back and we'll get into the actual physical end of this thing and show you some options, okay? We're going to now assume Greg is going to be Mayor Lincoln is going to be our active shooter. So those gals that volunteered to help, if you could kind of come up and get ready. Now what we're going to show you, first of all, Bob and I are going to show you how non-technical it is to take this shooter down. Now this is, there's no guarantees, okay? So Greg's here, come on Bob. And we're going to do this in slow motion. We've changed this whole procedure. We started with the high school kids, and we told them what we were going to do, and we let them do it. Very dangerous on that person. I mean, you tell I never forget Mike Parlak. Mike's a put-together guy. You know, he's no 90-pound weakling. And we did this at Connellsville, and there were two little girls. We asked for six people to come up. These two little girls, well, Mike didn't know what to expect. And they were probably, you know, smaller than Cheryl. They came out of those seats after we told them what to do. We demonstrated like we're going to do on Greg. And then they had their turn. They knocked Mike back 6 feet, 7 feet. His eyes were this big.
We don't want that.
And so we've actually changed the way we do this now because it's just a matter of time. Well, you'll see. Okay, so we're going to work backwards. We're here on Greg. What we want to do is, if we would both go low, we're going to wrap a leg. We're going to wrap a leg below the knee. If we wrap a leg above the knee, walk back, Greg. That's going to happen. If we lock below the knee, now walk back, Greg. It's that simple. You see, is that okay?
Perfect.
Okay.
That's good.
Just wonderful, huh? But if the tree has roots, when the wind blows, it goes over. I mean, dumb, but trees don't walk away because they've got roots. So if we get the roots, he's got to go down. And you can see it didn't take us a lot of pressure, did it?
No.
Come on up.
Give yourself room to fall.
Yeah. Now, I want you to Deb's going to be on this leg, head to the outside. Cheryl, you're on that leg. They're not going crazy. They don't have adrenaline going. Okay? Now hold on to him like your life depends on it. Now just shove your shoulder a little bit. Okay? Now you can imagine if they were going full tilt like they were defending. Now here's the next thing. Now granted, we've got some people here. The next thing you're going to do, once he's down, boom. You're not going to stop there. Remember, we're going to render him non-functional. He has a gun, for goodness sakes. We are going to render him non-functional through unconsciousness, injury, or death.
What we tell the kids in school to do is get the gun away, put a garbage can over it. It's not a weapon for you to use, okay? That's not, for adults, that's different. Whatever you make your decision, whatever you think you have to do. But once you have him down like this, if you pick a gun and start shooting him, you have a problem, okay? Main thing is you neutralize the threat and taking him down the way you have him to do.
You don't want to be holding that gun when those fellows enter the room.
Yeah, they don't know who the bad guy is. If you're standing there holding a weapon, they don't know that you're the good guy. They just put the weapon off the end. They don't realize that. That's why you don't want to be.
Patty Shannon, come on up, please. Now, the next thing when you get them down, we tell the little kids, you're going to sandbag them. You're going to get on an arm, you're going to get an arm, you're going to get a leg, you're going to get a leg. Rick, I'm not going to ruin this, am I? Okay. And we say, Think of your belly button as your sandbag. I don't want to hold Greg on my elbows like this. Greg, get your arm out. Okay? I'm going to put my sandbag on him. Greg, get your arm out. Bob, jump on. Yeah, Bob's already on there. Okay? Now, whoever's close up here, Shannon, Patty, Deb, Cheryl, one of you get on that arm. Sandbag him. Up here, sandbag that arm. Cheryl, you're going to sandbag the leg. You're going to come right across. Normally you go right across the knee. We're going to be nice to Mayor Lincoln. He needs another term. Okay, now, go ahead, bad guy, get loose. Greg's no little fella. He's pretty immobile. Now here's the cherry on top. Count to 10, Greg. Out loud, please.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now get loose. Go somewhere.
7, 8, 9.
If he can't breathe, he can't fight. And I'm 170, 175 pounds.
You're on me.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get up. Now these gals, well, Patty and Shannon have trained, so they do know something. But stay here, guys. They're not ninja warriors, and they're not 300. They're not our police officers, right? 3 of the 4. You know, Patty's a little taller, but look, they're not big people. It works. So now we're going to back up a step, and you're still the bad guy, Mayor. Now here's the next step. They're going to go, they're sitting at the office lunchroom, they're sitting in Sunday school, they're sitting but they're sitting, right? They've determined they've got to take this guy out. Not yet, Bob. We'll do the takedown first. They are going to rush in slow motion. We're putting the DVD in slow motion. Now you can just imagine if you came in here low and wham! You know, how many NFL injuries are there in knees? And I'll guarantee, I can't guarantee you, I bet he's not thinking those 4 little cutie pies are going to come kick my butt. He's the man. He's got the testosterone, he's got the gun, for goodness sakes. He's in control, and to an extent he is. I mean, let's be honest. So you guys are going to come in slow motion. Is there another female that would be willing to join our fray here? If there isn't, it's okay. Good, thank you. Now, here's what's going to happen. You're going to rush him. Now, I don't want you to say, I'll take the right arm, you take the left, I'll take the leg, you take the... It's not going to be like that. You're going to slow motion get to him, and 2 are going to go low, 3 are going to go low, 2 are going to go... You're going to swarm him. If you're both on one leg, no one's on that leg, you got to change. This is chaos. It's chaos, but you've got to try to control the chaos, okay? So, here comes the bad guy, and slow motion, come up and swarm him. Get your position. Get in position and take, look, see? Look. Swarm him, sandbags. Jump on something, Cheryl. Yes. Now, go somewhere, bad guy.
I'm not moving.
He's not moving. Now, get that gun out of there, boom, throw it, and they're going to be beating him. By the time, okay guys, get up. By the time those police officers get there, he should be wrapped up in duct tape, masking tape, belts, scarves. And one of Bob's favorite things is we got to be careful what we say to kids. You're adults, I say killing. One thing Bob tells the kids is, stuff a dirty sock down his mouth. You know, that isn't bad. Stuff it down far enough, and if he can't breathe, he can't fight. Now, if we rewound that, did you notice in my instructions, I said, get to him, then we'll take him down. Did I get to the take him down part? They already had him down, just getting in position. Just in their slow motion momentum, they took him down. Imagine if they came out of their firing. Do the same thing. Now, musical chairs, switch chairs. Just because they did so good the first time, you still okay? Yeah. All right. Okay. There he is. Come get him. Get in position. Take him down there. Yeah. Boom. Yes. Yes. Okay. Good. Now it's.
Greg likes this too much.
What?
He likes this too much.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. The next thing we're going to add, the last thing, is the distract. The distract part. Now isn't it kind of humbling? You know what happens? Would you have guessed they could do? You don't. Plus, he's the man. Now the next thing we're going to do is distract. Here's the thing about distracting. Your brain, when it sees something coming, doesn't know whether this is a rock, a cell phone, a shoe. It doesn't know. You see, what'd you all do? Right? Your brain can't react that quickly. It can't say, it's just a snowball. It's just a marshmallow. You go fetal position. I tell this story. I went out to the Columbus SWAT team for a class, for training. And the guy said, he played the part of the bad guy. He says, I'm not bragging. He said, but I'm the best marksman in our division, regiment, region, area. He said, I'm not bragging, but I could dot that I on that exit sign with a gun. He said, I'm just blessed, I'm that good. I came into this situation. I knew what they were going to do. They distracted. He said, you know where my shots went? And he was here in the ceiling. He said, my level of ability had nothing to do with my brain said, duck. And my shots went up in the ceiling. And he's a SWAT marksman. I don't know the correct term, but so what's your choice? Bang, 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 bang. Virginia Tech shot 3 times. 28 of the 30 were headshots. Do you think they were flying around like these gals are? No. So the next thing, Bob, should we use the rubber balls or the snowballs?
Doesn't matter.
What do you think? We'll be nice on you. It's about time, huh? Keep it, George. Keep it. No, keep it. Keep it and throw it. Keep it and throw it. Throw it at him. Okay, so now nothing's going to change. The bad guy's going to present himself. The only thing now is you're going to throw. And what if we all screamed? They need your help. Yell something. No, fire, back, no, stop, shoot, no. You see, what you want to do is take his brain away. We already took it away. You want to take that brain away from this. The brain can only think of one thing at once. He's thinking kill, if he's thinking at all. Remember, he's an idiot. Almost half the time he's going to kill himself. He doesn't care about going home. He's already made his mind up he's not going home. He just wants to kill as many of us as he can first. Sick stuff. So when they start rushing, create chaos. Wasn't you said when Greg came in fire? Or no, you said when Greg came in fire and your first reaction was to pick up that chair? Yes. Throw the chair. If these gals picked those chairs up and threw them at Greg, you think he's just going to be sitting there? Okay, so, enough talk. Here we go. When you raise your gun, okay, come up here so give yourself room to fall. Throw and go. Throw and go. Do the same thing. Be nice to him. Okay? All right, Greg, whenever you're ready. Go. Yep, down. Yes. That's it. Good. Okay. Now that's basically it. It's not complicated. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy. Man, you just had gunshots going off, for God's sake. You're dead. Your brains are blown out. You're gasping for your life. I'm not, believe me, I need your help. I could freeze the worst of any of us. And the quietest person, you take quiet Cheryl, she might be one that says, I'm not dying tonight. And if she comes, maybe you'll follow. And maybe there comes Jerry behind. And before we know it, we haven't stopped the killing. But maybe some of us are going home. Make sense? Okay. Now, that's the perfect world. There's a group. What if it's not a perfect world? What if it's two of you, husband and wife? Whatever, there's two of you, there's one of you. Does anything change? Yeah, your odds are going way down. But nothing changes. You're still going to run, hide, and fight as if your life depended on it. You're going to distract and try to get out. If you want to fight, if that's your last resort, you're going to fight like your life depends on it. What's your choice? Divine intervention, you know, we had one person, I'll leave it up to the Lord. Fine, if that's faith, you know, that's faith. I'm not sure how often that's happened, but that's your choice. You know, you've got to do something. Okay, Bob.
Let's say you just have one person, okay? You ladies, you can sit down.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're in church.
Sis, my sis.
You have to do it. Okay? Fire the gun over here. Over there. They can't shoot for a gun. There's too many people around. You have to do something. People are the closest. Distract. I mean, just go. I mean, just throw you have books, purses, keys, whatever you have. Anything will distract and go after it. Now, let's say that Don's attacked. He has a gun. Okay. And I don't care where I am. If he pulls something, I'm in a bar somewhere. I have some meeting. And all I'm going to do is, come on, man. All I'm going to do is, if it's me, I'm just going to throw something. Look at his reaction. Okay? Now, while I'm throwing something, while he's reacting, I'm going to go after him. The most vulnerable place to go after someone, and we don't train kids with this, is right here, right on the neck. If I throw something here and I go after him, I could clothesline him, or I could come the other way here, whatever. Boom, right here. And you have to have the intent to injure. You keep striking. The thing about that, I call it an axe hand. The thing about the axe hand of the throat and neck, you can keep throwing like a machine gun. Boom, 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 boom. You can keep throwing that. Okay? And I don't care who you are in here, any one of you people here, you hit him in the throat one time, he's going down.
Did you see what I did? And I mean, we've done this lots of times. He didn't even hit me, but did you see what I did?
I mean, you have drinks, you have food, you have anything you can use as a distraction to throw at somebody, but then you have to swarm and go after them. Maybe I was talking to Matt King, he was a wrestler. Matt, he can take someone down. He could go after them, boom, by himself, just take him down. Just him going down alone. I mean, it's not going to happen on a mat. It's going to happen on concrete, gravel, hardwood. Probably going to hit his head, he's going to be out. Okay? But everyone in here can't do a takedown. But you can all go to the eyes, to the throat. Okay? Now, another thing is, you know, these guys that are doing these, they're not tough people. They're not trained, you know, Army Rangers, Navy SEALs, things like that. They're just dirtbags off the street that have a weapon, okay, that makes them feel big. So, I mean, if you go low, and while you have their legs tied up here, If you stick a finger in his eye, he's going down. I mean, you don't have to, I mean, maybe he's too big and strong, you can't push him over. You stick a couple thumbs in his eyes, he's going down. Okay, he's trying to get away.
Groin,
So that's
eyes, groin, throat.
If it's a gun, if it's an attack, you have to do something right now. I don't care this way, whether you're here, you have peripheral vision. That's why you have to be aware.
Even if you're on the ground, Bob, stand please. Even if you get knocked down, he shoves you down. What if you just roll into him? Where's Bob going? He's going down. So go ahead, Bob, lay down, do the take. So I've taken Bob down, and I'm here. Look, bam, bam. I'm going to destroy that groin. I'm laying on his knee. You don't have to be a martial. You don't have to do jujitsu. You've got his knee here. I'm rolling up, and I'm just fighting like my life depends on it. Now it's Bob's poster of intent. Who wants it bad? Pittsburgh offense, Ravens defense. It's a fight. Only we're not talking about touchdown. We're talking about your life.
And the reason you have to fight like hell is because you can go and lay on me, Don. I pull this out of my pocket. Boom. That's why you have to take him out. You can't lay there and hold him. His hands are free. Anyone on the street that has a weapon, go ahead, you get up. Anyone on the street that has a weapon, guarantee they have more than one weapon. They just don't care. I pull the knife out of this pocket here, I go into this pocket here. Okay? If this hand is subdued, I'll go here. You know, that's why we don't go after the weapon. If he has a gun, I don't go after. You watch TV. What do they do on TV? They do things like this and some. Those are choreographed moves. That's not going to. I mean, you have to practice things like that.
This is a threat. Give me your wallet. This is an attack. Bam, 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 bam. Two different things.
That's not really a weapon. That's a tool. He's the weapon. This is the tool. So I want to take him out. So you won't see me getting a wrestling match with a knife or a gun or anything at all. I want to go out. I want to get inside the weapon and go after him. So if it's a threat, this is easy. He has a threat. Boom, right there. All I did was, what would you normally think to do? You want to get away. I want to get inside this. I just turned and stepped. My action is faster than his reaction. I get inside. I don't go after this. I go after him. Boom, boom, boom. And now you're inside the weapon, and then he's trying to pull away from that. That's the only thing he has. And you're beating the crap out of him. I don't care if it's a knife or a gun. I don't care what it is.
Bob, tell him the Walmart story.
Yeah, this is a true story. There was an incident, the guy was shoplifting at Walmart. So the security guy called the police. The police came, and...
You got a knife? Yeah, here.
The police came, and they're taking the guy outside, okay? Don's a policeman. He's taking me out. He has me by the arm, okay? He's taking me out. We get out to the car. He wants to get me in the car. I reach in my pocket. I'll reach in this pocket. I pull out a knife, okay? Don grabs the knife. He grabs my knife. I reach in the other pocket and pull out a gun. Bang, 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 okay? Now, the security guard sees this. He comes running out. He grabs the gun. I reach back in his pocket and I grab the knife and I stab him. Okay? So the point is, you don't want to go after the weapon. Okay? You want to go after him. Okay? As soon as I pulled this gun out or knife, and he's a policeman, instead of going after him, get inside that and just go after me. Okay? Now, you render me dysfunctional, I can't use either one of these things. And this is not, again, it's not what you would think normally to do. You would think from watching TV, you want to go after this, okay? But they don't show you this move on TV. I don't care whether if he has his gun in my back, doesn't change, boom, right here. I just rotate, I spin around, I don't knock it away, I just offset. I grab him so he can't get away. And I got him, and then I'm beating the hell out of him right here. Okay? If you just move away, here,
Bang,
if
bang, bang, bang.
okay? I got to get, that's why you got to keep it close. You want to get inside the weapons.
Okay.
The knife, the gun, it could be a shotgun. Shotgun threat doesn't change anything. You just got to go, you have to take an extra step. That's all. It doesn't change. If I have a stick, now another thing is, have a check. Something you can do if somebody has a knife, or they have a weapon, is grab a chair. And then somebody has a chair. He doesn't have it this way. He has it like this. And don't use that as a defense. Use it as an offensive mechanism. I have say this is a stick. I'm going to hit him. But I can't really, so he's coming after me, and he just keeps poking me, just keeps hitting me. I'm backing away. So, grab a chair. Anything you can have, use it as a makeshift weapon you have around.
What if you grabbed it and did this? Only at his face.
And then you go out.
Okay.
If I have a knife, and you grab the chair, I can't
Yeah.
grab the chair. I can't get out. I can't reach in with this knife. I don't care whether it's an ice pick or here. I'm moving, and he's coming after me. Now he has me on the defensive.
It's a balance of power. Okay, we could, maybe you can tell, we could go on to midnight about this. This just keeps going and getting better and better. But we're going to wrap it up. It's about an hour and a half.
I don't like the word defense. Defense
No.
means they do something.
Huh?
You want to do something first. Okay?
It's self-offense, self-protection.
Attack the attackers, okay?
So,
If you don't, at least you have everybody stabbed or cut or shot doesn't die. But if you don't do anything, and they get multiple, especially a stab wound is more lethal than most slashes. Okay? So I don't care what it is. If they're coming after you, okay, with them, this is the last thing I'll say. The very last thing. Okay, he's coming after me, and he's slashing. Okay, well, I'm not going to disable him. I'm going to do this right here. I'm coming in, I'm protecting my vital, I'm getting inside here, I grab him, I'm going after him. Maybe I get him, maybe he brings that weapon across my arm. I get him, I still got him right now. And then I got him right here, and I'm going right for his neck and throat. Boom, boom, boom. We're not saying you're not going to be cut. Okay, that's TV. But you want to reduce your chance of getting sliced on vital organs.
okay. So what we basically talk about? Run, hide, fight. Have intent to survive. I'm not dying today. Visualize. I'm not dying today. There's no guarantees. Now, if you have questions, rather than keeping everybody here, like I said, Bob and I will stay here till midnight. If you have questions, come up and ask us something. Again, I want to thank Armstrong Cable, the Connellsville Police, Mayor Lincoln, Somerset Trust, John Malone, and the Connellsville Library for helping make all this possible. Okay? If you have questions, come see us. If not, grab a cookie on the way out. God bless you and stay safe.